Good morning, Wob Nation. All right, week 12 is in the bag, and winter's here in Florida. But before we get to talking about playoffs, let's talk about some awards for last week. Starting out, Kyle. In a matchup you needed to win to hope to get a bye, you lost, and you did horrible. You're fired with 72.7 points, effectively putting you out of a first-round bye. The Wall, McKinnon, it's continuing the losing streak. 8 losses now, and you're now the punching bag for all teams trying to get into the playoffs. Low energy Jeb, Sirach, beaten by me by 68.1 points, and just an awful performance, kicking you pretty much out of the playoff race. Fake news, Ben, you started Vernon Davis, you sat your other tight end. I can't recall the name right now, but I'm sure it is haunting your dreams. The little Marco for the week, Ben, as well. Vernon Davis, 0 points. You know, it's not so much that you would have won by starting him, but you kicked out of the playoff race. So congratulations, and it's great news for all of us. Russ Belt, Jason over New John, 18.1 points. New John, you needed 31 points, 31.5 out of your player last night to get into the playoffs, Lamar Miller. But I think it didn't pull it through. 45, a most surprising win. Cruiser over Kyle, keeping it, even though it's a long shot. You're still in the playoff race right now from that win. Cheating Hillary, Brian, Julio Jones, 55.8 points in a monster performance, keeping you in the playoff race. High energies, myself, 7 wins, Jason, 5 wins, and Lee, 4 wins, pretty much securing the top 3 spots in the playoffs. And finally, Big Lee, myself, 3rd time this year, 170.4 points without having Zeke, mind you. That's quite impressive, I must say. Next, let's before we do predictions for next week, let's talk about playoff possibilities. So, Kenny, first of all, you're in with a win. You win, you're in, you control your own destiny. But creeping up right behind you is Brian. If you lose and Brian beats McKinnon, which is pretty much secure he's going to, you're out of the playoffs and Brian is in. Next up is Cruiser. Longshot needs some help, but you can also get into the playoffs. Cruiser, you're in it with a win, with both a Brian and a Kenny loss, and scoring more points than Kenny by about 60, which is doable. It's not out of the realm of possibility. And finally, the next 2 are infinitesimally small of getting into the playoffs, but I'm going to say them just for mostly comedic purposes. So, first up, New John. You are in with a win, with a Brian loss, with a Cruiser loss, and outscoring Kenny by about 120 points. And finally, Sirach. The same thing as New John, but instead of 120, you got to outscore by 190. So, Kenny, if you want to give Sirach the playoffs, convince Brian to lose, convince Cruiser to lose, and sit your entire team. And then Sirach could get in. So if you want to be nice, you can do that. In terms of who's in the playoffs, myself and Lee are in with buys. Jason, you have to outscore me by 120 points to get a bye, so that's never going to happen. But we're both in with a bye. Kyle, Jason, and Rob, you're in, but seeding is to be determined. Any of you go anywhere from 3 to 6. Depending on a lot of possibilities of scoring and wins this week. So playoff seeding is important with your wins. And finally, just because I have to say it, Ben and McKinnon, you're out. So, what is going on this week? My predictions. First up, Toilet Bowl. And, it's not that it's 2 bad teams. It's that it just doesn't matter. Lee, you're first no matter what. And Sirach, you're pretty much out no matter what. So Lee versus Sirach matchup doesn't matter. Game of the week is 2 to watch. So Kenny versus Nugent and Brian versus McKinnon. This determines a lot. These 2 games, I mean, like I said, Kenny, if you win, you're in. Brian, you need Kenny to lose, and you got to beat McKinnon. So both of these games are to watch. And finally, upset special, and I'm calling Cruiser over Rob, and Cruiser coming up just short of the playoffs with a win, because I honestly think Brian's going to win, and so it's going to come down to Kenny if you can pull it out. So good luck, everybody. I think it's actually the longest video of the year so far. Final week of the regular season. Everything matters. Put it all on the line. Make sure you start, sit properly, and make sure you all understand one final thing. I kicked Ben out of the playoffs. All right. Good day, everybody. See you on the waiver wire.